Alright, so you are going to need your dark blue sheet, foldable, from last week, and your light blue note sheet from last week, because this week we're gonna work on finishing up this blue foldable and talking about what each one of these little flats mean. While you're doing that, if you'll look at the agenda for the week, so today we're going to talk about MAD. Tomorrow you're going to work, it's going to be like a working day for you, so you're going to get to work on your IXL assignments and knock some of those out. Wednesday is you're going to learn how to do IQR. Thursday is a working day. Friday is your first quiz. It's going to be over all this foldable. Okay? Those IXL assignments 2 through 7 are also due on Friday. So if you haven't been knocking those out, you might want to start knocking those out. Okay? Alright. So today we're going to be talking about MAD. So the bottom flat, MAD, is not like mad like you're angry at something. It stands for something. It's an acronym. So if you open it up, you see that MAD stands for mean absolute deviation. So we see the word mean, which we've already talked about before. What is the mean? What's another word for mean?
Average.
Average. And how do I find the average? I just gave you back your graded papers on how to find the average. How do you find the average? Add up all the numbers as what? And then divide it by what? How many numbers you have. Okay? So in mean absolute deviation, we're actually going to find the mean twice. Okay? The word absolute is going to be, we're going to be using what's called absolute value, which we haven't gotten to yet, but I'll talk to you about it in just a minute. And deviation means how far off. Like if I'm deviating from the course, you're going off course a little bit. Okay? So how do we do that? Here's your steps. It says, first, calculate how far each number is from the mean. Well, before you can do that, what do you have to have? Before I figure out how far each point is from the mean, what do I have to have? I have to have the numbers. What do I have to have first? I gotta have the average. I gotta have the mean. If I'm using the mean, I have to have the mean. So I'm gonna put a bullet point up here to remind myself to find the mean. That's the first step, is to find the mean. Then it says to calculate how far each number is from the mean. What it means is they want you to pull it down here, right here. Subtract each number from the mean. So after you find the mean, you're going to subtract each number from the mean to see how far away it is from the mean. There's a lot of from the mean. It sounds confusing right now, but once we practice it, you'll be like, oh, that's not that bad. And so once you do that, you're going to find the average, which is also the mean, of those numbers you subtracted. Okay? So it goes mean, subtract, mean. That's what it really does. Okay? Does anybody still need a screen? Alright. So we're going to look at that light blue page that we started with last week. We're going to look at number 1, where it talks about the candy bars. Okay? slide it over here. Okay. Does everybody see number one? We're talking about the candy bars. We've already calculated the mean here first. The first thing we need, according to our steps, is the mean. Well, we've already done that for this section. What was the mean from number one? 23. Okay? Well, now that I have the mean, I'm going to start subtracting. But before I subtract, what I want us to do is list these numbers out underneath the math. That's what you do first. You list the numbers. Alright, so I'm going to list it 15, 17, 32, 19, 31, 26, 23, 21. I think that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you want to list it up and down like this because what we're about to do is subtract just from that paper. Okay? So we're going to do 15 minus 23, 17 minus 23, 32 minus 23, 19 minus 23, 31 minus 23, 26 minus 23, 23 minus 23, and 21 minus 23. Use your calculator. Use your calculator, is that what you asked? Yeah, you can. So when you use your calculator, what's going to happen is you're going to get a negative number. But we're not worried about the negatives because we're talking about how many hops away. So just look at the number. So when you do 15 minus 23 in your calculator, what do you get?
Negative 8.
Negative 8. But we're not going to count it as negative. We're just going to keep it as 8. That's that absolute value part, which always makes it positive. So 17 minus 23.
6.
All right. 32 minus 23.
9.
19 minus 23.
20. Another 9.
31 minus 23. 8. 26 minus 23. 3. 23 minus 23. 0. And 21 minus 23. 2. Okay. So we find the mean, we subtract, and then we do what again? We find the mean again. So mean, subtract, mean. Okay? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to find the mean of those numbers right there. All those numbers that we got when we subtracted, we're going to find the mean of that. So we're going to do 8 plus 6 plus 9 plus 4 plus 8 plus 3 plus 0 plus 2. Know what you get? 40. And then we're going to divide it by how many numbers we have, which is
8.
And 40 divided by 8 is
5.
So our MAD is 5. What that means is, on average, each number in the data point is about 5 away from the mean. Okay? It's talking about how far away is that point from the mean. Okay? All right, number 2 on this sheet, what do we get as the mean originally on number 2?
2.6.
I got 2.6. So we're gonna follow the same process. And we're gonna list our numbers. Now there's a lot more numbers this time, so you gotta be careful, make sure you get all of them. So 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 2, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 42. I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger for you guys. Alright, so we have the mean and we've listed our numbers. What are we gonna do now? Subtract. What are we subtracting from each number? 2 and 6/10. So 2 and 6/10. Alright, you should have that down on your paper. So what is 2 minus 2.6? 6/10. Ooh, beautiful math language right there. 6/10. We have 2 several times, right? And the answer, 2 minus 2.6, is that going to change? No. So work smarter, not harder, like my daddy says. So everywhere there's a 2 minus 2.6, the answer is going to be 6/10. So you can go ahead and fill that in. Let me change this color so it's easier to see what we got going on. All right, the next one, 1 minus 2 and 6/10 is what? 1 minus 2.6. What do you get? 1 and 6/10. So everywhere there's a 1, we can put 1 and 6/10. Is everybody with me so far, understanding what I'm doing? Or just subtracting and ignoring the negatives? All right, 3 minus 2.6. 4/10. So everywhere there's a 3, we can put 4/10. All right, 4 minus 2 and 6/10. What is 4 minus 2.6? All y'all have a calculator, so all y'all can be doing this. Thank you. 1 and 4/10. All right, and last but not least, 5 minus 2.6.
2 and 4/10.
we have subtracted, what do we do now? At mean subtract, what do we do now? Find the mean again. So we add all of these, all the answers, right? Add them up and divide. Everybody should be adding these up. Kennedy, what'd you get?
15.6.
Try adding that again. You got 15.6 as well? So 0.6, 0.6 plus 1.6 plus 0.4 plus 0.4 0.6 plus 1.6 plus 0.6 plus 1.4 plus 2.4 plus 0.6 plus 0.4. It's 15.6. All right. All right. So, nope, that's not a good one. So 15.6, and then what do we do?
Divide by a number.
Divide by how many numbers we have, and how many numbers do we have? 15. So 15.6 divided by 15 gives you what?
1 and 400.
1 and 400. It's not hard stuff, it's just a lot. It's just tedious. And the calculator does most of the work for you. You just kind of have to keep your work organized is all. Is this one of those you can just do all of it in your head? Can you just do all of it on the calculator without writing anything down? No, this one you're going to have to write down for sure. Okay? All right, flip it over to the back. I want you to try number 3 on your own. So the mean for number 3 was 34.1, right? So I want you to find the NAD for that, and then we'll check it. Okay, what's the first step you're going to do? We've got the mean, so now what are you going to do?
Write down all the numbers.
Write down all the numbers, and then what?
Subtract it by 34.
And then you're going to subtract 34.1 from each one of them. Okay? Let's do that, and we'll check it.